Continuing our coverage now of Black History Month, have you ever heard of the Goodrich Brothers? They were instrumental in capturing a growing city and industry. Sharing more about their incredible lives, we have Dr. Jennifer Vanette from the Castle Museum of Saginaw County. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, who are the Goodrich Brothers and what did they do?
Okay, well, they were Black photographers. They were on the cutting edge of photography techniques and the science behind it. They came to Saginaw in 1863 from York, Pennsylvania. So they were really one of the first established photography studios right here in Saginaw, and they stayed here permanently after that. So their studio was open until Wallace died in 1922. So that's a nice long run.
Wow.
And during that time, there was the lumbering industry that was just beginning to boom, and they captured that. They captured the growing city. They captured the shift into different industries. So we just have a wealth of imagery from this pivotal time in Saginaw history thanks to these brothers.
They documented a lot of interesting things for us. So it's always good to have those reference points as you see some of the photos up there. They were key in bringing Frederick Douglass here as well. Tell me about that.
That's true. So they were connected to Frederick Douglass through their father, who was also named William. William, back in York, had been part of the Underground Railroad, and he had several businesses, and there's evidence that he both hid people but also moved people on his own freight car line. And so he knew Douglass personally. So in Saginaw, the Goodriches met up with William Quincy Atwood, who made his fortune in real estate and lumbering. And so he was the financial backer, and the Goodrich brothers were the connection to Douglass. And so Atwood paid to bring Frederick Douglass here 2 separate times and gave speeches on all sorts of things: civil rights, voting rights, labor.
So many good little nuggets intertwined into all of this. And we saw some of the photos. Can you see those photos at the museum?
Yes, there are several that you can see. We have a whole display in our People Make the City where it's sort of like their little storefront, and you can see several of the photos on display at all times. And then throughout the museum, because they captured so much of our history, we actually feature quite a few photos all throughout.
And you also have another exhibit, Henry Marsha.
Henry Marsh is a new permanent exhibit. Henry Marsh was our first Black mayor in Saginaw, and so we have a new little sort of city hall in our People Make the City. Yeah, so it kind of has that facade of City Hall when you walk in, but then it really features Henry Marsh's story and breaking that color barrier.
Okay, well, how can people visit, or what do you need? Do you got to buy a ticket? How do you get into the museum?
Well, all Saginaw County residents are always free. Woo! So best deal in town, right? And then it's also just very affordable, just $3 a person if you're not from Saginaw County, $5 a family. We're open 7 days a week, 10 to 4:30 most days. We're open late till 7 on Thursdays.
Okay, good deal. Dr. Vanette, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And of course, if you have any ideas on what you'd like to see here on our show, don't be shy. You can send them to us at WNEM-4PM News at WNEM.com. Just use the subject 4 PM News Spotlight.